Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. I know you don't like super long videos, just like you don't like the short ones, and I keep trying to edit these down, but it's just not happening. So once again, we have some stories about the Queen. We have Sophie and Edward on their tour. We have William and Kate. And then we have our dastardly duo. And we have a message for the Sussex squad. This ought to be really interesting for you guys. So sit back, watch. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's go. Our first story today is going to be about the Queen. She received the Archbishop of Canterbury named Justin Welby at Windsor Castle, and he gave her a special Canterbury Cross for her unstinting service to the Church of England. Next up, we have some information about Charles and Camilla. They have headed to the 26th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, which is being held in Rwanda. Here's Charles and Camilla arriving for the summit. Watch this. There's a lot of important discussions going on there. For instance, this young lady is Patricia Scotland. She's the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, and she's giving discussions on her view of the forum as an opportunity to boost intra-Commonwealth trade, which I think is very important. Here's Claire Akamanzi, who's the CEO of Rwanda's Development Board, discussing the need for collective action among Commonwealth members for a successful post-pandemic recovery. These are the kind of meetings where I think they get a lot accomplished. So while Charles and Camilla are there, they will be meeting with leaders from the 54 Commonwealth countries to reaffirm their common values and agree on policies to improve the lives of its 2.5 billion citizens. So it looks like this visit was an absolute blast. It went well. And of course, Charles was representing the Queen. All right, moving on. By the way, that picture and this picture were taken on day 2 while they're headed to a memorial to pay tribute to victims of a genocide that took place in Rwanda. Very touching. Now we're on to Catherine and William, and they went to celebrate Windrush Day. And this is a message that was sent by the Queen, where she said, it gives me great pleasure to extend congratulations on the creation of the National Windrush Monument, and the unveiling at Waterloo Station serves as a fitting thank you to the Windrush pioneers and their descendants in recognition of the profound contribution they have made to the United Kingdom over the decades. It's a beautiful statement. Now, for those who don't know what it is, Windrush Day is a celebration in the United Kingdom every year on June 22nd, and it marks the arrival of the Afro-Caribbean immigrants to the shores of Britain, and it honors the British Caribbean community. It's saying that 500,000 people made their way to England after the Second World War. The first Windrush Day was held in 2018. And since then, it's just been taking off. I think it's a wonderful thing, and it looks like it's a beautiful monument. And of course, William and Catherine, you know how they are. So we all know that Catherine loves cameras, does videos and stuff, and she got a lesson. Watch this. So, of course, William gave an eloquent speech where he pointed out that the people that came didn't have to come, that they volunteered to fight for king and country, with many of them realizing they probably would never make it home again. They talked about how over the past 7 decades, the Windrush generation's role in the fabric of the national life has been absolutely immense. And Waterloo Station, he said, was the perfect place to put the monument. And I have to say, I love the monument. I think it was beautifully done. And let me say one more thing. William did talk about racism, people from that generation who were victims of racism, and that discrimination remains for people that are Black in Britain. But they're hoping that diversity is what makes us strong. It's what reflects the modern outlook, and that today it should start to get better, which I agree. You have to look forward. Fabulous speech, William. All right, a blind item came out, you guys, saying that the deal between Spotify and Meghan Markle and Harry is not working out, and a breakup announcement is imminent. I think we were all wondering where this archetypes thing was that they had promised us that never materialized. Well, it would seem that Spotify's had enough, and they're going to be announcing that their collaboration is over. We've also heard the same thing from Teresa Longo, and we know that this is all probably going to happen in the next few days. Hold your breath. So speaking about their deals, Netflix is coming up again because people are wanting to know why the Netflix bosses gave them any kind of a contract before without researching them. Why would you give them such a lucrative contract without knowing what the heck you were getting into? After they were booed at the Platinum Jubilee, people are wondering why the Netflix bosses didn't have some foresight, because if they're saying if they'd had their ear to the ground, they should have known what was coming. Preaching about living green and having a low carbon footprint while they take jets everywhere. And, the booing should not have come as a surprise to Netflix. If they had any brains in their heads, they should have known what was going on. And now their investment is it's terrible. They should cut their losses and run. They hurt the Queen. People should have known what was going to happen. And now Netflix is running into all kinds of other issues. We all know that its stock price fell more than 70% this year. They've already cut hundreds of positions, and now it looks like they're getting ready to do it again. So it's being said or reported that at the end of this week, there's going to be another round of layoffs, that it could be as big as it was the last rounds of layoffs were. Now, it's unclear what departments are going to be hit, but some sources are saying that the cuts could be similar in size to the round that was taken in May. They could save themselves $100 million just by canceling Harry and Meghan's contract. So apparently somebody reached out to Netflix to discuss with them what was going on, and the spokesperson declined to make any comment of any kind. Now, they're not the only Hollywood player that's having staff cuts. Warner Brothers and Discovery has also had a few layoffs as it's looking to reduce costs. But it seems to me that if you want to reduce some costs, the first thing you do is cancel the big contracts that are sucking you down. Now, it's not going to do Netflix any good with their image now that it's coming out about what happened with this Ukrainian person that was at Invictus Games that was given a camera, supposedly from Netflix, to document actual war footage to be used by Harry. I hate to say it, I really do. I hope that Netflix wasn't stupid enough. I hope maybe that's something Harry did on his own. But since they were given a camera and an SD card, no, I'm sure Netflix had a hand in what happened. And I love this picture put up by We Are Not Amused on Twitter. Spot on. I mean, it's come out that they've used the Ukrainian people's suffering as a PR opportunity to promote themselves and their brand. Now, how do you think people think about that? What do you think they think about Netflix doing that? Because essentially, that's what they did. Harry is trying to capitalize on the human tragedy in Ukraine, just like his wife did in Texas. And I wonder how many other athletes were given cameras. And the fact that they had to exchange prisoners for this woman and a cash payment. And I agree with the comments that are being put online. This is absolutely repulsive behavior. It's horrible. Now, the paramedic who was given the camera and who was captured actually went on TV and thanked President Zelensky following her release from Russian captivity. I agree with Keep It Real One. It's nice to see that the president helped her out, because even though she put her life at risk for Harry and for Netflix content, apparently he didn't step up, and neither did Netflix, to help her out of the situation after she was captured. Oh, God. Please don't get me wrong. This woman owes some responsibility because she readily took the camera. She probably took whatever they were paying her to, but she's also partly responsible. But still. All right, let's move on. We're well aware that Harry and Meghan said that the firm didn't do anything to help them, and that all they wanted was for them to stop the fake news that was going out, and there was an active role that they were playing in perpetuating falsehoods, and, blah, blah, blah. So let's take a look at what the palace did do by, to help Meghan when all of this stuff was coming out, shall we? Let's go. To start with, in 2016, Kensington Palace published a statement on Harry's behalf about the abuse and harassment Meghan was receiving. Supposedly there were stalkers on her property and blah, 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 and the police were called, but guess what? They never found anything. Very interesting. In 2018, Kensington Palace disputed the claims that Meghan had pressured Harry to skip the royal family's traditional Boxing Day pheasant shoot. They said it was untrue. The same month, they commented on the claims that Meghan and Kate were caught up in a feud, saying it never happened, which of course we found out later on it did. In March of 2019, somebody told Hello Magazine that the allegations that Meghan and Harry would be raising their child with a fluid approach to gender were false. Weeks later, the royal family issued social media guidelines. After Kensington Palace staff spent hours moderating sexist and racist comments toward Meghan and Kate. Then in 2019, in July, Hello Magazine approached Kensington Palace with the allegations that the Sussexes had asked their Windsor neighbors to follow a code of conduct, and the couple reportedly told their neighbors never to approach them in this new set of rules. But a palace spokesman said that they didn't request it, didn't know about it, and had nothing to do with it. So they have stepped up to protect them in the past. Now, to be fair, again, the palace has lied to try to calm things down. They said that there was no feud between Kate and Meghan when there was. They're claiming that the code of conduct, don't approach us, don't ask about the baby, don't do this, don't do that. I have no doubt that Meghan put out that code of conduct, even though the palace said it didn't exist. That's just my thoughts. So I think it's pretty obvious at this point that the palace was in damage control mode, and they did take up for Meghan, even if they had to lie to do so. So when you hear Harry's complaints that they never did anything to help them, that's a lie. So this constant victimhood of the firm didn't protect us, the firm didn't do anything, blah, 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 is so old at this point. Have you guys noticed it's nothing from them except victimhood, victimhood, victimhood? Like, it's a little scary. Oh, and one more little bit of tidbit. While this video was being taped at Polo, Harry and Meghan, the people who won the NAACP award, made no comment, no videos, no posts, nothing about the fact that this was Juneteenth, which is an African American day to acknowledge and celebrate the end of slavery in the United States. No, nothing on their website. It's been celebrated for decades, but this was the first federal holiday that it was just added to. And these two said nothing and did nothing. Well, that's not true. They went to Polo. Wow. All right, just a quick little thing I want to throw in here. For Father's Day, Charles's account put up a picture of him with his dad, a picture, as you can see above, of Camilla with her dad, and a picture of Charles with both of his sons. But what did Henry do? Zippo. He just ignored Father's Day. Anybody else find that kind of odd? He didn't even put up a picture with his kids or, a tribute to his dad. Nothing. And of course, Meghan didn't do a tribute to her dad, who she is yet to see. She still is ignoring the man while he's battling back from his stroke. And he just ignored it like he doesn't have a father. All right, moving on. All right, everybody, it is day 2 of the Wessex tour. They are in Cyprus. Of course, Sophie looks amazing in her Susanna Cora silk tea dress. It cost £1,050. They were posing with a picture with Nikos and Andre, God help me, Anastasiades. That's the president and the first lady of Cyprus. We've seen this dress before. She wore it when they were in the Caribbean on their last tour. And she looks just as gorgeous in it now as she did then with the accessories. All right, moving on. Later on in the morning, the Earl of Wessex presented the Duke of Edinburgh Award to students from across Cyprus, and he congratulated all of the recipients on their achievement. Now, these students got gold, silver, and bronze award levels. Next up, the Earl of Wessex, Edward, went to spend some time, and I hope I say this right, on the Dhekelia Ranges, speaking to soldiers and getting a closer look at their capabilities, enjoyed by everyone. Now, when he was done with that visit, he met up with Sophie, and they went and met the British peacekeepers serving there. They're also known as the Blue Berets, and they were at Ledra Palace, and that's where they met them. I actually like the Blue Berets. I think they're very spiffy looking. Don't you guys agree? I like the uniforms, especially with the Blue Berets. All right, now let's look at what Sophie was doing. While Edward was out meeting that first group of military people, Sophie was catching up with members of the Women's Mediators across the Commonwealth Network. They share expertise and experiences in mediation and peace building from their communities with partners of other Commonwealth nations. The meeting itself took place in the buffer zone. Now, Sophie has been a long supporter of the UN's WPS agenda, which aims to put more women at the center of conflict resolution, which is where I think most women should be. Here she is meeting with some of them. Watch this. Now, you would think that would be enough for one day, right? But no, there's more. All right, after a quick change of clothes, Sophie then went, and again, I hope I say this right, to the Dhekelia's Early Years Center and visited with the children. Love it. Well, I could look at Sophie all day. It's time to move on to a completely different subject. This next bit of information is for the Sussex Squad. Please listen carefully. Most of you know what happened to Megan's mole. We all know what happened. She was the victim of a bot attack and she was suspended from Twitter. Almost immediately, Boozy was online going, "Hey everybody, look, I got somebody else permanently suspended from Twitter. Here's my link, donate so I can keep my work up." And gloating he was and taking full credit for her being thrown off, which is dangerous because she was thrown off by a bot attack, which is illegal. Then he started doing what he always does. He follows her to different sites and, cyber stalks her and, look, now she's against homophobic. She's putting up homophobic stuff. And then when her account went back up, he pulled the same old stuff, calling her racist and against the trans community. The exact same thing he said when my account went back up. This is what Twitter is saying. This is what YouTube is saying. I mean, he spews the same stuff over and over again. Some of his followers, I think, are starting to get the picture if you look above. I think people are starting to figure him out. But here's what I wanted to say to those Sussex Squad members that are watching this video. For 2 years, he's been telling you guys about how he's going to get rid of these, what he calls single-minded hate accounts. In 2 years, he's managed to remove one YouTube account and he's managed to remove one Twitter account. What happened to Meg was not him. That was something completely different. So the only person he's managed to pick on is Yankee Wally. And every time an account goes down, he brags to you guys, look what we've done, look what we've done. And then you guys give him more money. You're donating thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and then the accounts come back. He's scamming you guys, in case you haven't figured it out yet. And I've said it before, a fool and their money are soon parted. So at some point, I'm sure you guys must step back and realize that he's not done anything he's promised you because he can't. Okay? Save your money. Like, really. Well, all right, people are asking about my eyes. Yes, they're healed up, but you see in this picture how below my eyes, there's like this band going below my eyes? That was the ligament under my eyes, which had atrophied. And I also had a lot of swelling under my eyes, which was affecting my peripheral vision. So I had the surgery, and this is the result. The atrophied ligament has been fixed. The swelling is gone. I now have my peripheral vision back, and the side effect of this surgery, I've been told, is it took 10 years off my face. That's always a plus. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a lot of information. Again, lots of information, and you know I want your comments, so make sure you leave them. Don't forget to check that subscribe button. Make sure you're still subscribed. If you've been unsubscribed, hit the button again so that you'll be notified whenever I put up a video. Not like I've skipped a day or anything, but it could happen. It could happen. Don't forget you can email me. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter, Getter, and Rumble. For those who have donated through the thank button and for those who have donated through my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.